What we've seen is, of course, the outright war that Russia is engaging in Ukraine. That's been going on since 2022. But while that has been going on, there has been a what I call hybrid war against a much wider group of targets, and that consists of various types of sabotage and terrorism. We've seen Russian shadow fleet digging up internet cables through the Baltics and other places. We've seen attempted sabotage of a DHL plane out of Birmingham. We've seen various arson attacks of drone factories and other weapons suppliers in the UK. And of course, we've also seen Russian drones, Russian fighter jets going into Poland and Estonia. And so they're probing right now. Putin is probing the West, probing NATO countries to see what the reaction is going to be. And Poland, of course, is pretty much at the front when it comes to this type of stuff. They saw these 16 drones come in. They've saw the sabotage on the rail line and other things. And so it's the only appropriate response. Putin only understands one thing, which is a boot on the throat, a real robust response, and it's the appropriate thing for Poland to be doing right now. I think the three next targets after Ukraine are Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. So we have basically the most nearby NATO members are certainly going to be targets. Putin needs the war in order to sustain his power, and if for any reason he wins in Ukraine or there's a ceasefire in Ukraine, that doesn't mean the end of the violence. It just means he moves on to other countries, and Poland is justifiably concerned about that, and so should the rest of the world be. Well, NATO is a collective defense mechanism, all for one and one for all. There's a thing called Article 5 of NATO, which reinforces that to say that everybody needs to collectively defend everybody else. And I think the reason why Putin is doing this is he wants to see if NATO is a real functioning defense apparatus, whether people will actually do what they're supposed to do. And he's particularly interested in seeing where the United States falls in this. Remember, the United States is the leading member of NATO. Donald Trump has made it clear on a number of occasions that he doesn't necessarily view it as an automatic defense mechanism, that he might not defend members of NATO under certain conditions. And so Putin is trying to play around with this and trying to define where the real NATO sentiments are. And by probing and pushing and sabotaging, that does a very good job of determining that NATO resolve. Well, it will more likely escalate into a wider conflict if we do nothing than if we respond robustly. Putin is just probing to see where the real boundaries are, to see where there'll be a hardcore response. Putin can't really fight a war with the rest of the world, but he can fight a hybrid war and a low-level hybrid war very easily. And a low-level hybrid war can escalate based on his own low-level escalation. And so the best thing to do is to nip it in the bud. Every time Trump threatens to go after the buyers of Russian oil, Putin comes to the table in a half-baked negotiating position to buy time. That's what he did several times before leading up to Alaska, and that's what he did now with the leak of this 28-point peace plan. Putin has no intention of backing down, but what he's hoping to do is get Trump to back down from the sanctioning of Chinese, Indian, and Turkish oil refineries from buying Russian oil. And if Putin can achieve that, even for a few months, then it's been a success.